Hi, welcome to Soul Stretch, the online edition. My name is Dana and I am the regular teacher for Soul Stretch when it is held at the Holistic Center. But for now, we are creating as many videos as possible so that you can have some health and wellness from the comfort of your own home. And it's free, so there's that. All right, so today we are going to be doing a mobility class and it's for the hips. So some of us are sitting a little more than usual since we are at home. A lot of us are at least. And that can create some issues, some instability, some stiffness, some aches and pains in the hips. So this is a class to help increase the mobility of the hips so that you can work out a little bit of those aches and pains. We are going to go ahead and get started. I am again sitting on my pillow to help elevate my hips because I do have some tightness in my hips. So it just helps me sit up a little taller. I do have an extra towel. You can use a blanket, anything that can kind of roll up because you can use that to help pad your knees when we are on all fours. I'll show you when we get to that, or you can use it towards the end in Savasana. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to find a comfortable seat on our mats. You can be on your knees, you can be sitting cross-legged, whatever is most comfortable for you. And we're just going to settle into our seats. Sitting up nice and tall. Making sure to deepen our breath as we continue to settle. The last class I taught was on breath. It was on our breathing, so make sure to check that out so that you can see the importance of deep belly breathing. We're going to go ahead and start getting that belly, or getting your breath to reach down deeper into your belly. So allowing the belly to expand. Inhaling, the belly will expand and into the side body and then into the chest, and then letting that breath go from the chest out of the side body and then out of the belly. Go ahead and follow your own rhythm with this deep belly breathing. Just remember that this practice is for you. It's for you in your own body, no one else. So do what's right for you. Find what works for you. And just enjoy. Honoring any limitations that you may have. Because we all show up differently on the mat each day. One day the body may feel like stretching and it may be limber and flexible, and then the next day you may feel stiff. It just depends, but it's paying attention to those differences in each day that is the practice. Because when we're mindful about how our ability changes on the mat from day to day, then we can be mindful about how our attitudes and actions and mind states may fluctuate day to day and throughout the day. And no matter what, whether it's physically or mentally or emotionally, there is some compassion that is needed. That is yoga, that is the practice. So offer yourself compassion no matter where you're at today. And just keep on going with it. Okay, we are going to move into our hip circles. This is just to loosen up the hips, get them a little warm before we move into some of our deeper stretches. So we're just going to circle around. I like to keep the palms of my hands on my knees to help brace me. Like I said, my hips are somewhat tight, and so I just do what works for my body. So I invite you to do the same. But make sure as you are circling, you are really feeling it in the hips. Engage the core. Move to your own breath. You can slow it down or speed it up, whatever feels good for you. And when you get back to center, let's go ahead and go in the opposite direction. So flexibility or mobility in the hips is important because it helps us walk, run, sit, get out of bed, get into bed. So it's important to take care of your hips and just doing simple exercises every day to help increase the mobility. Okay, and coming back to center. So from here, we are going to move to all fours. So you can move any props that you have out of the way. My floor is pretty hard, so I like to use a towel or a blanket to place under my knees so that it could provide a little bit more cushion. I have hard floors and my mat is thin, so I need to do something. Okay, so we are going to move to all fours. So knees are stacked under hips and they're going to be hip width apart. Hands are going to be shoulder width apart. Don't dump into your wrists, but try to keep as much of the pressure as you can in the pads of the hands and in the fingertips. And begin to breathe here, settling into your tabletop position. Continue to breathe. And then we are going to sit back, moving into child's pose. So that's just reaching the arms out in front of you, sitting back on your heels. And then we're going to come up, still on our knees, and lower down. And we're in a baby cobra. We're going to rise up using our arm strength and core and sitting back into child's pose. Inhale, rise up again. Coming forward into cobra. Exhale. Inhale, rising back up. Sitting back into child's pose. Exhale. You can follow this movement to your own rhythm using your breath. So inhaling when you come up, exhaling when you get there, inhaling to move back again up to tabletop, and exhaling when you get into your child's pose. We're going to do this a few more times at your own pace. following your own breath. One more time. Coming back into tabletop position, we're going to do a couple cat cows. Cat cow is just in your tabletop position, and on your inhale, you are going to drop the belly and inhale. And on your exhale, you are going to round the back, pushing up through those hands and your arms, separating the shoulder blades, exhaling. Inhale, drop the belly once again, hips towards the sky. Exhale into cat. From here, we are coming back to center. We can leave our towel or whatever padding you have on the mat, but we are going to come into a low lunge. So that is just stepping the left leg forward. The back right knee is going to still be on the mat on your padding if you have it. And we are going to come up nice and tall, still engaging the core. Breathe here for a moment. And we are going to come forward, still with a nice straight spine. Stretching into that hip. I said that hip, but I feel it in both hips. So I feel it here and here. Continue to breathe. Inhale, come back up. You can settle here for a moment. Straightening yourself back out. And on your inhale, we are going to come forward once again. If you'd like, you can place your hands on the mat, but make sure to keep that spine nice and straight. You don't want to then dump into your hips. You want to still engage the core and come up nice and tall. But whatever feels right for you. Squaring those hips, so making sure that they are still even. And coming back. We're going to do that one more time on this side. So coming back to center to resituate yourself. And coming back into that nice deep lunge. One more breath here. And coming back into your kneeling position. So you can regroup here, take a few cleansing breaths before we do the other side. And then we are going to move to the right side now. So bringing that right foot out in front. Lining up that knee to that ankle. Back leg is bent as well. Take a moment here. Get your posture together. Still engaging that core. And stretching down into that low lunge. And coming back up. Take a moment and then move back into your low lunge. Remember, never pushing or going too far. Honor your body where you're at. And coming back up. And then moving back into our low lunge. One more breath here. And moving back. All right. You can come back into your kneeling position. So from here, this is one of my favorite hip mobility exercises. You can move your props out of the way. This one is gonna be a little bit of a flow. So I like to set myself up for this particular movement by aligning my body with the front corner of my mat. So knees or legs are going to be bent, going in the same direction. So it's gonna be like a windshield wiper move. So lining the sole of your left foot up with your right thigh, and then your right leg is going to be situated accordingly. But I like to line my mid body up with the corner of the mat, just so that it makes sure that you're still on the mat as you're doing this movement. So regroup here for just a moment now that we are in our starting position. And from here, you can use your hands to brace you, but either way, you're going to engage your core. So this is also good for the hips and the core. So from here, I'm going to place my arms behind me to help get me started. And then I'm going to bring my legs up and around like that windshield wiper movement that I was telling you about. Still using my hands to help brace me, using the core to help stabilize me. I'm now going to be facing the opposite direction. And then we're going to move back to our starting position. I like to get a little twist in here as well. Remember, never forcing it, but just allowing the body to twist slightly, just to add a little bit more to the movement. And so from here, we're going to keep doing this a few times. You can take the hands out of it if you would like, but they do help. So go ahead and use them if you'd like to. And just keep moving to your own breath. You may have to reposition yourself a couple times. Continue to breathe at your own pace, but following your breath with your movement. Continuing to move, continuing to breathe. If this feels a little too intense, you can scoot the legs out a little further away from the body, and that way you're still getting that hip mobility, but it's not as strenuous on the core and the lower back. Continuing to move. I'm gonna scoop myself back. You will tend to wander in this pose, in this flow. A few more times. And we are back to that corner where we started. And so from here, we are going to move onto our backs. So bent legs, coming back onto our mat. Okay, and from here, we're going to keep our core engaged still and keeping a nice flat back to the mat. And from here, we are going to lift our left leg. It's going to be bent, and then placing our left ankle onto our right leg. This is called figure 4. So from here, we are just going to create a little bit of movement here by pressing on that left knee. You can even scoot this leg up a little further if you'd like. So just creating some movement here. And then we're going to find some stillness, but still adding some pressure to that left leg so that we can feel a nice stretch in that left hip. Continue to breathe. And then from here, moving that left leg back, still keeping the core engaged, still keeping a nice flat back. We're going to bring our right leg up and over the left. Okay. For me, this hip is a little tighter, so I won't get the same range of motion that I get in the other. That's perfectly normal, so you might notice that on either side. Create some movement first, not really pushing too hard or creating a bouncy movement, because then you can accidentally over stretch that hip, but just creating a little bit of buoyancy, a little bit of movement. And then finding some stillness. Creating a nice deep stretch in that right hip now. Okay, and from here, we are going to do one of my favorites that I think I do in probably every class. I'm just using my, my towel or blanket to create a little bit of a pillow for my head and neck. You can do the same if you'd like, but it's fine to be flat on the mat. So from here, we are, with our knees still bent, we're going to bring the soles of our feet together and allow them to just fall to the side. So this is Reclined Butterfly. And I think I probably do this in every single class, or at least most of them, just because it's a great passive way to open up those hips. It's letting gravity do its thing. So continue to breathe here, releasing any tension from the body. As you continue to breathe, you'll notice that the body starts to relax more and more, and you'll find that you're tensing up in places that you didn't notice. And just allow the breath to release it. Releasing the tension from your neck and shoulders. No longer flexing the glutes, and just allowing the legs to be. And just breathe. And so from here, we're going to come out of our reclined butterfly, but we're not moving too far. We are coming into our Shavasana. So bring the legs out in front of you, allowing them to just, your feet to just hang. Release any tension by moving them back and forth. Allowing the arms to just come out to your sides. You can begin to bring some movement back to your body by wiggling your fingers and toes, fluttering your eyelashes. And when you are ready, you can roll to one side into your fetal position and rest there for a moment. And when you are ready, you can move back up to your seated position. Thank you for taking time to practice with me. I'd like to leave you with a quote that I found, and it just resonated. And it says, "A person does not grow from the ground like a vine or a tree. One is not part of a plot of land. Mankind has legs so it can wander." And that is by Roman Payne, and it's from The Wanderess. That quote really resonated with me because this is a time that many of us feel stuck, and a lot of unhappy thoughts, a lot of depression can sink in because we are not as social as we'd like, because we are kind of confined to our homes. Many of us are, at least. And like the quote said, man and woman, we're not meant to just stay put. We are beings of movement. And I just wanted to leave you with that quote because however you can, whatever is accessible to you, do that in forms of movement or wandering or exploring or finding adventure. So whether that's just a walk at a park or just around your neighborhood or doing a yoga class in your living room. So all of those things matter. All of those things are a part of your journey as a being, as a creature of movement. And so I want you to find that movement in each day. It doesn't have to be a full-on practice. It doesn't have to be some CrossFit class or something crazy. You can find movement. You can wander in just simple moments throughout the day. So I want you to find those times in your day. Create a space to wander. And once again, thank you for practicing with me, and I will see you in the next video. Be well.